Did you know that in 1948 there were roughly 5.8 million bee colonies that produced honey within the United States? But today that number is down to 2.5 million. Bumblebees, the essential pollinator of 1/3 of United States crops, are now on the endangered species list for the first time ever. According to the Scientific American Journal, government scientists point to a certain class of pesticides called neonicotinoids, widely used on crops, lawns, gardens, and in forests. They pose a particular threat to bees because they are absorbed into the plant's entire system, including leaf tissue, nectar, and pollen. Neonicotinoids damage the brain cells and subsequently result in colony growth defects. This can cause poor colony performance and brain dysfunction in the bees. Neonicotinoids rapidly shut down energy-making factories in the bee's brain, making the cells malfunction, which impairs the bee's ability to learn important memories such as how to get back home. Seeing as 1 in 3 bites of food are some way connecting to the pollinating bee, we must now act to save our bees. Bees produce honey, which has some pretty amazing medicinal uses. Honey, it can be used for healing wounds and healing burns, such as staph infections, MRSA, ulcers, and superficial burns. It is also amazing for treating allergies. A tablespoon a day of local honey from your area will help fight off seasonal allergies better than any over-the-counter medicine can. It is also pretty incredible with fighting infections. It kills bacteria by destroying the key bacterial proteins. Natural honey is also 3 times more effective than artificial honey. Honey can also reverse bacterial resistance of antibiotics. Without the bees, we really don't have any of these incredible medicinal uses. There's also a big difference between natural honey and artificial. Commercial honey is pasteurized and heated to high temps, destroying most of the beneficial enzymes. Commercial honey has most of the pollen removed. In a freshly harvested jar of honey, you can actually see the little clumps of pollen all in it. You really want that pollen in there because pollen is one of the most nutritionally complete foods due to its high amino acids and antioxidant content. You really, really want that pollen. There are several ways we can save our bees, but we really have to act fast. We can plant bee-friendly flowers in our garden and our yards. Cheerios ran a campaign recently where they were sending out packets of wildflowers to people. This is great and all until some of the wildflowers were not native to some of the areas they were sending them to. That really backfired, which resulted in a lot of people throwing them out because it ended up being kind of bad for some of the areas. Do not use chemicals or pesticides to treat your lawn. My parents beekeep and they also have a farm and they have a garden. My mother uses diatomaceous earth in her garden as pesticides, and it's completely safe. It's safe for people, it's safe for your children, it's safe for your animals. You can even ingest diatomaceous earth, and it's completely harmless to you. Do not buy local or raw honey. You will also help fund the bee farmers in your area to keep funding. I know beekeeping can be pretty costly to get started, so by buying from your local farmers, you're also helping them get more and more bees, which will help repopulate our bee population. Bees are thirsty, a lot like humans. Put a bird bath out there, give them some fresh water every day. It doesn't even have to be a bird bath, you can get a little tub. My dad makes homemade sugar water for his bees and puts it out in his yard. Within an hour, he has thousands of them out there swarming it, drinking this water. They love it. Also, you can get involved. You can write Congress. You can tell them the importance of saving our bees. Before my parents were bee farmers, I knew nothing of bees. I never understood their importance or what they did, really. I've learned that without bees, the world would be in a panic, and we're getting close to being in that panic. The food shortage alone would kill out a lot of our population. Together, we can work to save our bees, but we could also be working to help save the human race as a whole. Think about it, if we didn't have our local farmers, then we would have no food. But at the same time, if we don't have our local bees, we still don't have any food. These are things we really need, so get involved, help us save our bees so that way we can continue to eat the good food we eat. That way there's enough for everybody and there's no food shortage.